All right, Commanders fans, before we jump in, let me just say this. This team is working every single day to get better, to clean up mistakes, to push forward, and to keep building towards something special. That's what this season is about, improvement and results. And if you love seeing this team grind the way we've seen through 3 weeks, go ahead and smash that like button right now. It helps us keep bringing you exclusive Commanders content, and it lets us know you're riding with us through every snap of this season. Now let's get into it, because we've got some big news, some injury updates, and a story that proves once again why Dan Quinn is exactly the leader this locker room needs. The Commanders are sitting at 2-1 after a statement win over the Las Vegas Raiders, and now they're gearing up for a Week 4 battle against the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons? They're coming off a brutal 30-0 loss to the Carolina Panthers, which means they're angry, desperate, and looking to punch back. That makes this game tricky. Washington, on the other hand, is dealing with its share of injuries. Quarterback Jaden Daniels is out this week. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin is also out. And listen, those are massive pieces of this offense. But if there's ever a week to have them sidelined, it might be this one. Because next week, the undefeated Los Angeles Chargers are on deck, and Washington is going to need all its firepower for that showdown. But let's talk about one of the brightest young surprises of this season. Rookie running back, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. This kid came out of nowhere. Nobody outside of the Commanders building really saw him as anything more than a depth piece when camp began. And yet, here we are, 3 weeks in, and he's already making a serious case as a future building block in this offense. So far this season, Krosky-Merritt has carried the ball 22 times for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not eye-popping volume, but when you actually watch him run, the skill set jumps off the screen. He's slippery, he's got burst, and he can make defenders miss in space, something you just can't teach. The problem? He's been banged up with a knee injury. Thankfully, Krosky-Merritt returned to practice Friday. That's huge. It doesn't guarantee he'll play Sunday, but it gives Washington a chance to have its rookie spark plug in the rotation. And with Mariota starting under center, the Commanders need every ounce of support from the ground game to keep the offense balanced. Now, even if Krosky-Merritt is active, he's not going to carry the load by himself. Washington has had to reshuffle this backfield after losing Austin Ekeler for the season. And credit to Adam Peters and this coaching staff, because depth pieces are stepping up. Chris Rodriguez has been solid. 11 carries for 36 yards, nothing crazy, but he's that physical, grinded-out runner who can wear down a defensive front. But the real story has been Jeremy McNichols. How about this guy? 8 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown, including that electrifying 60-yard scamper against the Raiders last week. That one play flipped momentum and reminded everybody that McNichols is not just a fill-in, he's a real threat. Through 3 weeks, his 12.9 yards per carry ranks 3rd in the entire league. That's not a fluke. That's production. So heading into Atlanta, the Commanders' backfield is a true 3-headed monster. You've got Krosky-Merritt, the shifty rookie with the spark. You've got Rodriguez, the bruiser. And you've got McNichols, the home run hitter. If Mariota can manage the game, protect the football, and lean on that rotation, Washington's offense can keep rolling even without Daniels and McLaurin. Now, let's shift to something that happened last week, a moment that went viral, but more importantly, a moment that defined who this team is under head coach Dan Quinn. In the win over the Raiders, Quinn got absolutely blasted on the sideline. Marcus Mariota got pushed out of bounds, and Quinn, standing right there, took a direct hit. He went down hard. His head snapped back, he hit the ground, and when he came back up, there was blood on his face. At first, there was real concern. This is the head coach we're talking about, and he didn't just take a light bump. But then, in classic Quinn fashion, he dusted himself off, got treated, and came right back out. Business as usual. Focused. Locked in. Bleeding, but coaching. For fans, it was a wild moment. Seeing your coach with blood on his face, refusing to stay down, it looked like something out of a movie. But for the players, it meant so much more. Linebacker Bobby Wagner summed it up perfectly. He said, "Whenever you see somebody that leads the ship go down like that and then bounce back up, Everything that he preaches to us, we felt like we saw that in that moment. He got knocked down, got hit pretty hard, and he didn't have any pads on. He came back up, and it was kind of like a movie. While he was getting treatment, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to come out, and so we're gathering everybody, I'm getting ready to speak, and then he comes out of nowhere, and he's like, I got it. It was just a cool moment. I'll remember that forever. Think about that. Wagner has been in this league for over a decade. He's seen legendary leaders. He's played in Super Bowls. And still, this moment with Quinn hit him. That tells you everything you need to know. Look, this Washington roster is still a work in progress. Adam Peters is rebuilding piece by piece. Jaden Daniels is growing into the face of the franchise. There will be ups and downs. But when you have a coach who leads with action, not just words, that's culture. That's buy-in. That's how you build something that lasts. Quinn didn't have to say a word after that sideline hit. His actions said it all. He's willing to bleed for this team. He's willing to take hits and keep standing. And that's exactly the mentality he's demanding from his players every Sunday. When guys see that from their head coach, they don't just play for themselves, they play for him too. That's the kind of fire that can carry a team through adversity. And make no mistake, the Commanders are going to face adversity. Injuries are piling up, the schedule gets tougher, but with Quinn at the helm, there's a different energy. The Washington Commanders are fresh off a big bounce-back win, dropping 41 points on the Raiders, the first 40-burger of the season. Fans felt the energy, the locker room felt the momentum, and for a moment, all felt right again after that tough loss to the Packers. But even in victory, there's been a shadow hanging over this team. That shadow? The loss of Austin Ekeler. On September 21st, against Green Bay, not only did Washington take the loss on the scoreboard, but they lost one of their most important offensive weapons. What at first looked like just a lower leg issue turned out to be devastating. A torn right Achilles tendon. For any player, that's a nightmare. For a running back who relies on explosion, cutting, and balance, it's even a tougher road back. Fans immediately wondered, how would Ekeler handle this? Could he keep his spirits up? Would this derail his career? Well, we don't have to wonder anymore because Ekeler himself gave us an update, and in true Ekeler fashion, it wasn't doom and gloom, it was determination.
On Instagram, Ekeler shared a video message with fans. The caption read, "Surgery went well, now back on the road to recovery. I'm going to have some weekly events going and I'm super excited to share them with y'all." In the video, Ekeler kept it real. He admitted the restrictions are tough. No weights for 14 days. No sweating at all due to the risk of infection. He's rolling around on a leg scooter, still limited in movement. But here's the part that should fire up every Commanders fan. He's not sitting still. He bought himself a set of dumbbells and is cranking out 50 curls and 50 shoulder presses every single hour. That's right, every hour. This is a man who refuses to let his body shut down, even when his leg has him sidelined. Ekeler said flat out, "I'm not just going to sit around." That's his mindset. That's his fight. Now, let's not forget what Ekeler was bringing to this team before the injury. Through 3 weeks, he had 14 carries for 43 yards. Not huge numbers yet, but remember, this offense was still finding its rhythm. Last season, he was a special teams weapon, finishing third in the NFL with 594 kickoff return yards in just 12 games. He was expected to be a difference maker again, especially in spread packages and critical third down situations. Ekeler's ability to line up wide, catch out of the backfield, and move the chains made him more than just a runner. He was a matchup nightmare, and losing him changes the texture of this offense. But here's the encouraging part. This team isn't folding without him. GM Adam Peters and Dan Quinn went right to work after the Packers game. First, they signed veteran back Chase Edmonds to the practice squad to add depth. That's a savvy move. Edmonds knows the league, knows how to contribute, and gives Washington insurance. Then the young backs stepped up. Jeremy McNichols ripped off a 60-yard touchdown run against the Raiders. Chris Rodriguez Jr. has been physical, lowering his shoulder and chewing up tough yards. And rookie Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt, he's been one of the biggest surprises of the early season, showing flashes that make fans think he could be part of this backfield long term. The result? Against Las Vegas, Washington's offense exploded for 400 total yards and 34 points. That's proof the plan works. The rotation is deep, the line is opening holes, and even without Ekeler, this unit can still put pressure on defenses. But let's zoom back to Ekeler for a second. Because sometimes what a player gives you off the field matters as much as what they give you on it. His update wasn't just about workouts or rehab. It was about mindset. It was about showing his teammates and his fans that injuries don't define you, that the fight never stops. This is a veteran who has seen the highs and lows of the NFL, and now he's showing the young guys in the Commanders' locker room how to attack adversity head-on. And when you think about Dan Quinn's culture, toughness, resilience, fight through pain, doesn't it feel like Ekeler is the perfect reflection of that? Bobby Wagner and the defense already showed us last week how inspired they were by Quinn's bloodied, bounce-back moment on the sideline. Now the offense has a rallying point too in Ekeler's fight to keep pushing even when he can't step on the field. So here's where we stand. The Commanders head into Week 4 against a desperate Falcons team. Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin are out, but the running back room is stepping up in a huge way. Rookie Ja'Cory Cross-Green-Merritt has back at practice and could play a key role if healthy. Jeremy McNichols and Chris Rodriguez Jr. are ready to carry the load if needed. And perhaps most importantly, Dan Quinn continues to prove he's the right man to lead this franchise. Not just with words, but with actions. So, Commanders fans, I'll throw it back to you. How big of a boost do you think it is to have Ja'Cory Cross-Green-Merritt back in practice heading into this matchup with Atlanta? Do you believe this running back committee is strong enough to keep the offense afloat without Daniels and McLaurin? And how much does it mean to you seeing Dan Quinn literally bleeding for this team on the sideline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And hey, if you believe in this team, if you believe in the direction Dan Quinn is taking us, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Commanders HQ. We're going to be right here with you every step of the way this season, bringing you the news, the analysis, and the insider perspective you can't get anywhere else. Hail to the Commanders. Let's get this win on Sunday. That's a wrap for today, folks. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. Your support keeps this community strong. Now, let's go get Atlanta.